Magyar szólások és közmondások angolul beszélőknek.
Hungarian sayings and proverbs for English speakers. Bunny girl.
Házinyúlra nem lövünk.
Only 3 words this time. Nyúl is either a hare or a rabbit. But here we have Házinyúl, and that is a domestic rabbit. From ház, meaning house. That ra suffix we'll get to in a moment. Lö means to shoot. Here we have the ending unk, meaning we, and we've got that V in there. We'll look at that later in the video. One more word, nam, and that means no. But what about that ra? Have we seen that before? Lö takes one of 2 cases. Here it's taking ra, which means onto, as we've seen before, and it means you're shooting onto or shooting at something. You are aiming and you're shooting at that thing. You can also actually use the accusative and just put a T. Using the accusative, that means you're looking at more a continuous thing, not aiming at something, but shooting in general. Putting it together, domestic rabbits onto not we shoot. We don't shoot domestic rabbits. It doesn't mean that at all, actually. It's sort of the same as the English don't shit in your own nest. That is, do not start a romantic relationship with a woman who belongs to your family, your circle of friends or workplace. For the vocab, we're going to look at pets. Now, a pet is a háziállat, domestic animal. Háziállat is a bit wider than what we think of as a pet, which can also be translated as hobbyállat. And you've also got things like cows and that, which are useful animals, haszonállat. So we're just going to look at pets in the narrow sense. We've already looked at nyúl, which is a rabbit. A baby rabbit is a nyúlocska, and a pet word for a pet rabbit is nyuci. And a rabbit lives in a hutch.
Nyúlketrec.
Macska, a baby cat, is a sitsa, and you also use sitsa as a pet name for a cat, that is a pussy. And a cat can live everywhere. My cat lives in the garden. Cat. A dog is a kucha, and a baby dog, a puppy, is a kucha. That is a dog cub. This word kuyuk is used for other animals as well.
Kölyök.
Öleb is lap dog, using the old word for dog. Öleb isn't a pet name for a dog, but rather it means lap dog. I asked my dad, you've got Nyusi, you've got Sitsa, what do you say, what do you call the dog? And he says, well, you call it by its name, of course. So there we are. A dog lives in a kutjahas or kutja-ol. Now, ol can also mean a sty, as in a pigsty. So it doesn't mean that your dog lives in a pigsty, but it lives outside in a yardy thing. And there's also goldfish. So areinhal, goldfish. And they live in aquariums. Well, mine doesn't. Mine lives in a pond. When you're looking after pets, what do? Ellat. Ellat is to look after something. And the sort of standard things you do is etet, you feed your animals. Itot, you give water to your animals. Sétáltat, you take your animal for a walk. Usually dogs. I do know people who walk their cats. Each of these cases is an example of a new suffix. That is tet, tot, or et, ot. It depends. In this case, they all have the T, but you can also get situations where it doesn't have the T. So, tet, actually just comes from essik. So this means causing something to eat. Itot comes from essik. It means causing something to drink. So in those cases, it's stripped right back. Sétál is a bit easier because it's using the whole of the dictionary form. Sétál tot, causing something to walk. So this is the causative. And there's shimagot, which is to pet or to stroke. And this suffix, the got get suffix, we have looked at before. And it means doing something repetitively or to a lesser degree. Here, what you're doing repetitively is you're smoothing. So shimmer is smooth or flat. Shimagot, you are smoothing over and over again. I want to also look at nicknames in Hungarian, and there are lots. I've just grabbed a bunch of them to give you an idea. So these aren't even all the nicknames for these particular names. So you can see in many cases what you can just do is you add an I. So you take the first part of the name and you add an I. Sometimes you do a little bit of changing as well. And the other thing you can do is add the ko, ke, which sort of makes it smaller, makes it cuter. Usually you'd use the ko, ke for a child. And if you might get stuck with it in your home and you might end up with it for good. Now, remember when we looked at names for a baby rabbit, it's a nuloch ko. So this is the same word. I got these from a great website. The link is in the description below. And you can search by name or you can search by nickname. And one thing though, you've got to get the spelling right. And it will give you, for a name, it will give you all the nicknames for that name. It will also give you its name days. I did a video on name days. You can check that out if you're interested in the Hungarian name day idea. And it also gives you some idea of the meaning of the name. I want to look at V-based verbs. V-based verbs are a very small class of verbs that are just a single syllable and end in a vowel. The most common ones are roll, to carve, lö, to shoot, fö, to cook, nö, to grow, sew, to weave, and new, to wear out, as in wear out until it's completely wrecked. The E ones, they're really obscure, so I haven't put those in. So what you do is you add a V and shorten the ending vowel before suffixes with an initial vowel. So for example, if you're looking at the present tense here, you'd normally add an erk. So you actually need a V before because le erk is just too hard to say. And we'll look at that for both a front vowel word and a back vowel word. There is one other which comes into this, and that is yearn. Yearn doesn't end in a vowel, yes, but it's linked to an older word which is you. So it actually follows the same pattern. There's also another lot of verbs that use a V, and they have an SZ in the present tense and a V in the present participle and some third person singular past indefinite, just Essek and Essek. There's only 7 of these. It's really easy. And you'll see that, oh, yes, these are some of our irregular verbs. Yes, you're right. These are part of the 9 irregular verbs in Hungarian. He is, or becomes, is less, but being, as a participle, is either levu or levu. Putting, tevu. Buying, vevu. Eating, evu. Drinking, ivo. Carrying, vivo. Believing, hivu. Here we've lengthened the I as well as the ö. So these participles are sometimes also used as nouns. And the past tense, you can say, past tense is where you get the evet. So this is the link with that. So if you eat some cake, evet. But if you eat all of the cake, you stick to the normal one, which is ette. And in this case, because it's a sense of completion, you need the meg ette. Yonsi, if he drinks some beer, it's ivot. But if he drinks the beer, like all the beer that's there, he completes it, it's ito. And again, we need the meg ito. There is another 10 or so ones. They tend to be IK verbs, and they have the V. They also have a D in it. So I don't want to go into this in great detail, but there's 3 that are very common. So olsik, if you're looking at the present participle, it's olvo. And from that you get sleep, olvash. eskuzik is to swear, and the present participle is esku. But we tend not to use it as a participle. The most common use of this is as a wedding. So it goes, the present participle and the noun are often the same. And feksik, fekvu, is lying as an adjective. Fekvesh, lying as a noun. And fekve, lying as an adverb. So in English we use the same word each time, lying. And in Hungarian we've got 3 versions. So for fekvu, you could talk about a fekvu beteg, a patient who is confined to bed. For the noun, we could call it about fekvesh, lying as in the sense of a recumbent position or a location. And fekve, as an adverb, we could say fekve morad. He stays in bed.
Házinyúlra nem lövünk.
We don't shoot domestic rabbits. That is, keep your hands off the staff and family. Very good advice. I hope you're finding this useful. Leave a comment below to let me know how you're getting on. And until next time, Vislat.